Hi, beautiful beings. We have some exciting news to share.
Yeah, we just got back from a sweet 2-day getaway. And it was a surprise trip.
Bridgette planned this really beautiful surprise for us. And she also asked me to marry her. And I said yes.
Yeah.
And she said yes to me too. Yeah.
We have the same size finger.
I know, that's really cool.
It was cool because I put Brittany's I was like, how am I going to figure out the size of her finger? And then all of a sudden, Brittany was like, hey, this is my old engagement ring one day.
Wedding ring. I never had an engagement.
Wedding ring.
Yeah.
And so I put it on my finger and it fit me perfectly. So that was
helpful.
That was helpful.
Yeah, I love it with the same size.
Yeah, me too.
And so you?
So for the last 6 weeks, I've been planning this trip and getting really excited about this vision and how I was going to do it and just the quality and the feel of this time together. And yeah, it's been so magical to plan it out and to set the intention of it without you knowing, because there's been so many fun things that have come up for us since I have had this vision in mind, which is perfect, which was all the times this stuff was coming up, I think you didn't know,
I didn't know of your specific intention.
Right. And so my intention set this container that has been really powerful for us. And while we were away on this trip, I just felt so dropped in with you.
Totally.
In a way, in this new way. I felt oh, the container has started. And the 6 weeks prior that maybe we've been having some powerful conversations, deepening our connection, gaining clarity about our future, about our past. It was all
yeah, and about patterns and ways that we relate to each other. And for me, it's been a lot about learning what could feel safe and grounded and consistent for both of our nervous systems to really create and expand from.
Yeah. And so we had this full day, dropped into this really beautiful cabin. There was windows everywhere, so it was we were inside, but it also felt we were outside, and it was just magic. We just had epic conversations and moved slowly and made a lot of love and rolled around on the floor and read and journaled and asked each other powerful questions. And so I also, wanted, the intention for this video is to share kind of our process with leading, setting the intention and setting the container and what it means to us, right? What does it mean to us to be engaged, to be moving towards being married or having a ceremony. Fun to talk about.
I love this topic. I'm so excited to talk about this because I never wanted to get married before. Bridgette, you're the first person that I've wanted to get married to, and you're the first person I've been engaged to, because even though my previous partner who I married, we got married, we never got engaged, and we just got married at town hall. We did have a fake wedding ceremony. But anyway, the point is, it didn't hold the same meaning to me then. And marriage is a word, and I think there's a lot of traditional meanings to it, and there's a lot of societal ideas around it, or ideas we gather from movies or weddings we've been to. And for me, none of that resonated.
Yeah.
And what I saw of marriage growing up was a lot of divorce. And so it just kind of felt what's the point? It doesn't hold a meaning to me. And it didn't really make sense with this other truth I was coming to within me around how can I ever commit to someone else fully and commit to myself? And fast forward, now Bridgette and I have been in partnership over 5 years, and that has been exactly what our relationship is an exploration of, is how to be in sacred union with myself, my truth, how the energies want to be expressed through me, and have that same reflection of depth of connection with another being.
Mm-hmm. And to feel like supported, right? Like for Brittany to feel supported in the evolution of her connection with herself and her expression with herself while in relationship with me, while in relationship with me thinking about being in relationship with me forever, continuously, or, you know,
yeah,
and me with her too.
Yeah, and I love it because Bridgette, my sense was that since I met you, you've had a positive feeling about marriage and an idea of like wanting to create that type of a union and ceremony with someone someday. And like my ideas over time have shifted. And for the last couple years, definitely the last year and a half, but maybe longer, Bridgette and I have been talking about getting married. And it's cool that we get to be engaged and that you like proposed to me, because we were on a trip like 3 months ago, and I remember asking Bridgette, I'm like, do you think we'll get engaged? Or like, do you think either one of us is gonna, like, do you feel a desire to propose? Do you want me to propose? Would that be like stealing your thunder if I did? Do you care if we get engaged or if we just like plan a wedding someday? And it was cool to feel, I just felt like an open canvas for us to paint on. Yeah. Felt like, cool, like, I think we're moving towards creating a ceremony and creating another level of dedication to what we're doing here. And also getting to be celebrated in it, like to celebrate ourselves in it and to invite our loved ones in to celebrate us as well. Because we've been doing something so cool for so long, and I'm really proud of it. And I think the most fun part of thinking about a wedding with you has been talking about how we would do it, which is really different.
Yeah. I love all this. Yeah. What do I want to share based off what you
I know, I feel like I just shared so much.
And marriage, I've been engaged once, but I've always had this really beautiful feeling about what marriage means to me, or what a union means to me, what the container of marriage means. And I've always, it's been such a feeling within me, like the feeling of being in a relationship that feels so expansive and so nourishing and grounded and safe and fun and passionate and playful. And you know, what we've created over these last 5 years has been that. But I would say more specifically the last year, right? Like mine and Brittany's relationship has changed a lot in the past year. And for me, it felt really special to ask you to marry me, because a year ago we had this really powerful conversation. It was maybe a little over a year ago, where Brittany was sharing that she was like fully here with me, right? And like wanted me, I'm gonna share this in my own, from my own perspective, but she wanted me to like show up in that as well. Like, and like, you know, I've been like, Brittany, I want you to be here fully with me. I've been asking, you know, for these things for years, and now you feel ready. And like, I'm like having my own process with that, like, right, like my system's recalibrating. And over this year, I think it's been about us rebuilding a foundation together and rebuilding a sense of safety in our relationship. For me, that I could connect with those feelings that I just shared about that, the container of marriage and how it would feel for me. And so to ask you has been really powerful for me, or to like have this vision of like how I wanted to do it and how I wanted it to feel and how I wanted us to feel in our relationship before I felt like it was the right time. And it was like all these things started to add up. And so, I just feel so in that with you, so in this, like I feel so infinite with you, and now like setting this, and it's so powerful, like intention and container setting, and like what transpires when we set an intention or when we set a container. And I was talking about in the beginning of this video, like once I decided how I was going to do it, when I was going to do it, and I like booked it, and so like the intention was in motion, so many things started shifting because of that intention. And that has been really powerful. So the wedding and the ceremony and the container of marriage for me just feels like another powerful container of intention for our love and how we want to exist in the world, growing in our lives side by side. Yeah.
Wow, I love all this so much. I feel like everything you shared feels so complete. I guess I'll add another piece, which is that I really love how we do things in our own way. And we recently recorded a video on a relationship update, just like what's alive for us now, how we've gotten here. And that all feels so true. You know, we're so free to express, to explore how we want this life. And we're so supportive of that for one another, while also having this like deep intention together and this like significant amount of energy here in our space. And I'm really excited to communicate that through a ceremony of like sacred union, because weddings I've been to, I've loved weddings. They're so fun for so many reasons. And also there's like such a linear feeling about them, and like things being said that are very familiar, but like, what does that mean to that person? And I'm so excited to like communicate what the ceremony means to us, and to have maybe like a visual representation of that in a different way in our ceremony, and to have our loved ones around and to dance.
Be a lot of dancing,
and to be in that focus, because I think you and I love supporting the beings of our life, and we're so good at that. And I think it'll be really wild. I know for me it'll be a really wild feeling to be like more of the focus, as opposed to like supporting the energy of the event. And I think that in itself will be really powerful, to invite people in to celebrate us as like the focal point.
Yeah, I love that.
And I think our love is so beautiful and really deserves a celebration, and I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, me too. I love celebrating us, and I love celebrating love. Love is so, it just feels like the whole point of being.
Totally.
Yeah.
We were talking on our trip, and I said, you know, Bridgette, I love that you are so in love, and that you beam that love to me, and like we feel that reflection with each other, and that's what it is to me. We all get this opportunity to live a life of love, and to have another being who so beautifully, like, you're such a beautiful reflection for me. And we have such similar rhythms, and also differences that light me up. And it's like both very much, I revere that you're my beloved, and I also like understand how love, while like very personal here, like I feel so intimately connected with you, it's also like I don't own your love. You know, like you are a being made of love, who embodies love, who shares love. And there's a really beautiful like dichotomy in that I'm excited to keep expressing with the world, and giving us all the freedom to just like know that our love has no boundaries.
Beautiful.
Aww, thank you.
Do we want to share how
it happened? Yeah, because it was magic.
Do you want to share?
I do. So we had this perfect day. We had a really beautiful night arriving, spent a night in this cute, sweet, beautiful, expansive tiny home with a hot tub overlooking this pond with a blue heron. And then like Bridgette said, we had a perfect day. We meditated, we made love, we played, we talked, all these things. And then
we did yoga, we danced, we rolled around on the floor and gave each other body work, and we read.
It was just such flow. All day we walked in the sun.
We just felt so in love. Like it was just like, oh, like this. It just felt like really, really sweet and beautiful.
Yeah, it was like the most nourishing quality time ever. And then Bridgette told me, she's like, so first Bridgette made a delicious dinner for us, and then shared like, okay, we're gonna like drop into this experience now. And I was like, okay. I'm like, this whole day's been an experience. Gonna drop into this flow. And I'm like, all right. She's like, go upstairs. That's where the loft where we slept was. She's like, go up there, lay down on this like massage blanket, take off your shirt, and don't look, close your eyes. I'm like, okay. So while I did that, Bridgette set up all this stuff downstairs and outside, and Bridgette gave me this sweet massage, and then we went downstairs, and or maybe upstairs you gave me my first clue.
So I made it like a scavenger hunt of clues, and some of the words were like context to just like symbolism of our journey, or just like a poems. And so like all the words were very poetic and symbolic of like our relationship. And so I had like 7 clues, and Brittany was just like finding these clues, and then it led to I had this letter written outside by the fire, which the fire was like the last clue. And then I brought Brittany inside, and on the right on the table I had our rings, and I had written out, we play bananagrams, and so I wrote out, will you marry me? And then I asked Brittany if she would marry me.
Which she knew I would say yes.
Yeah,
and as I was gathering these clues, I was like reading the poems and crying, and it was so sweet.
Did you know it was coming?
I mean, yes and no. It's like,
yeah.
like I told Bridgette this, in a way, I felt like it's been on the table for some time, and there were like things leading up to this trip that like parts of me are like, I could totally figure all this out right now. Because I'm really good at that, and it's hard to turn that part of my brain off, like kind of know everything that's happening. You know that you're like that too.
That's why I kept the trip a surprise and like kept holding, because I wanted it to be like I wanted you to know that I wanted you to just chill and let me surprise you.
And I wanted to, like, I really wanted to be in the magic of it and to not expect something. So I think I was like playing along, like really allowing myself to just like be in the experience of it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to, I wanted to be in that. Like, yeah, it was so magical.
Yeah.
And that was that. That's how it happened. That was that. Got these really cool rings. I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had like kind of chose this ring together.
So here we are, sharing with the world. Feels nice to just like make this video and reflect on our time together. And yeah, we're about to get Ilya back after a few days, and so this is kind of like
a reflection,
and a transition. And
yeah, and I know this video is super long, but I want to share one more thing, which is that, because this is a question I've asked people, is like, when they're going to get married, like, what do you envision shifting? Like, what is this? What is going to change when you guys are married or even engaged? What does it mean to you? And in a way, I already feel like I'm living my truth with you. Like, in a way, nothing is going to shift. So it's not, And also, as Bridgette said, like, just setting a container, an intention and a container.
And maybe it's a commitment too. That could feel
grounding for the system.
Yeah.
And in a way, I think that does feel and will continue to feel, like with each phase, more grounding for my system and parts of me that can like wonder. So I just want to name that like there's nothing huge that's like, oh, we're gonna get married and now we're gonna be this or that. It's not like that. It's more like a celebration of what is, and a continuation,
a deepening,
and I think a depth of like a deepening of a dedication for me, and like really the safety to like continue to like soften into that.
Love you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love you.